This video is going to be a little bit different today. I've already shared this part of my testimony on another channel, and I thought instead of redoing the story, redoing a video for it, that I'd just share it. And really, my heart in sharing this is just for others who may be in a situation that I was in back in the day, to be encouraged and to see God's grace and His mercy and His redemptive power, because He can definitely do that. So, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video.
10 years ago, I was 21. I was working a pretty great job. I was going to school. I had a really great boyfriend. And then all of a sudden, I was pregnant. All of a sudden. As you can imagine, life was spinning. Things were chaotic. Things were uncertain. There was lots of tears, lots of sadness. In this video, I'm going to share my reflections as a 31-year-old looking back to those moments in time that really changed the trajectory of my life, and share with you the biggest thing that I learned during that season in my life and how it has shaped me today. So let's get into it. The biggest thing that I learned during that time is this: it is never, ever, ever too late to stop and put things back in order. No need to double down. No need to just let me just see where this goes. You can hop off the ride, stop, and assess, and get things back together, okay? Number one thing that I learned. So I didn't really date in high school. I dated one guy in high school for 4 months. And after that, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to hold off. I feel outpaced. You know what I'm saying? So I really tried to put my head down and really focus on school and focus on my craft. I went to performing arts high school and I just really tried to tunnel vision it. My last semester in high school, I actually cultivated a deeper friendship with a friend, and we ended up falling in love and wanting to be together and all of those mushy-gushy things. And, we really let our emotions drive our actions during that time. And I'm giggling. Why am I giggling? Okay, so we were together and we dated and we broke up and we dated again. And then in 2013, we found out that we were pregnant. Shock and awe. Shock and awe. Okay? Me. Shock and awe. Let me tell you why. Because I am the rule follower. I'm the one that's like, I don't know if we should do this, y'all. We might get in trouble. Yeah, that is my vibe, okay? So when I found out the news, took a test. I actually took 5, help. It felt like chaotic, but surreal and in slow motion, all at the same time. It was a wild time. And I just remember feeling shame and uncertainty and sadness, all of the feelings just continually swirling around in my mind. I'm feeling it in my chest, throat area. And I come from a very legalistic religious background, so I also had to endure looks of pity, looks of shame. Oh, you did so wrong. And it was a sad time for me. Luckily, my boyfriend was very supportive and hey, we're in this together. And so that was great until we broke up halfway through the pregnancy. I know, I'm laughing because it's been a long time, but it was very traumatic then. But looking back, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to us. Let me tell you why. We were uneducated about a lot of things. We were uneducated about love. We were uneducated about family building. We were uneducated about pregnancy itself. And breaking up in the midst of the pregnancy really made me stop and be like, okay, God, I really have to talk to you about this now. Like, it's not just, hey, Lord, help me, please, in Jesus' name. It's like, no, I have to come to the table. I have to come sit down at the table, bring my papers. Lord, here's what I've done. Here's the situation, the circumstance that I have found myself in. And I need wisdom and guidance and comfort and peace and the grace and mercy that you promised me in your word. Like, I need that. I've told people this a few times, like, growing up in a really legalistic church culture, or just church culture in general, there's not a lot of resources or language to really help the younger people, young adults, even whatever, high school kids, like, figure out how to navigate falling in love and following Jesus, right? There's not, like, what we got was sex education via STD pictures. Like, that's what we got. That was it. Here's what genital warts look like, and good luck. No condoms for you because you shouldn't be doing it anyway. So I cried to the Lord. I pleaded with the Lord. I thanked the Lord, and I asked for his forgiveness. And I asked him to help me just kind of get back onto a path that would put me in line with his will. We had a friend introduce us to a couple who had a ministry that was specifically geared towards helping millennials. We met them, and they essentially discipled us from our pregnancy to up until really our daughter was 5. They were a vital part of our success through that period because they poured so much wisdom into us, and they gave us options. Here's how you can navigate through these options. Now you have to decide what's best for you. One of the most profound pieces of wisdom that they ever gave us was, now's not the time to have a relationship. You guys need to work on your friendship and being present and the best person you can be for your baby. Let me tell y'all something. I hated that advice. Not them. I love them so much. Love you guys. I still hated that advice. I was like, what? I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. Like, we're not together. We can be not together. I don't want to do that. I don't want to try to be friends. You know what I mean? It was awkward and it felt weird. And honestly, it's a great example of once you taste and see a thing, it's hard to walk it back. Okay? And we had to. So we followed their advice, their suggestions, and their wisdom for 2 years. We did not live together. We were celibate. We did have a few times we messed up, but we walked it right back. We had to face the reality that we were in, but we also had to show up for ourselves. We had to show up for each other in a way that friends would, and we had to show up for our daughter. To this day, the work that we did in those 2 years of just being discipled, being counseled, and then really putting their wisdom into practice, it has built a foundation for us even now. Yes, we are married and we have 2 more kids, but our friendship is really the core. Looking back, we really allowed God to put us back in order, and it was difficult, it was inconvenient, it was hard, it was not fun. But all of that was really necessary for God to redeem and restore what could have been lost. Because let's be real, when we decided to navigate things in our own strength, based off of the high of our emotions and whatever else, we rolled the dice, as my mentor likes to say. And sometimes you don't get 7 or whatever number you're supposed to get. I don't gamble. What was actually important in looking through our God lenses, we really had to stop. We had to get off this path, take a look around, assess, and figure out, okay, in order to get back over there, where we feel God's will is, we have got to put this back in order. Because even though I made a mistake in following my own pride and thinking I had things under control and not really asking the Lord for his leadership and to keep me in his will, he still had grace and love for me. What does the Bible say? God gives you a way out, like an exit. And I feel like we took that exit door. Like, hey, we're not trying to be in this room. There is a lot more on the line when it comes to us actually having a baby and shaping our next generation for both of our families and wanting to have a family life that is intact, that looks like how God intended it, and is something that will deeply affect our child. We've got to think about that. So out of something that was really scary, really uncertain, that gave me a lot of shame, God gave me restoration and redemption. He really gave me a true friend, a really cute, squishy baby, and the opportunity to create a motherhood that I would be proud of. He gave me the grace and the mercy that he promises in the Bible. Colossians 1:10 and 11, Paul's writing to this church and he's saying essentially like, since we've heard about you, we haven't stopped praying for you. And verse 10 says, so that you may live a life worthy of the Lord and please him in every way, bearing fruit in every good work, growing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, so that you may have great endurance and patience. When I reflect back on being 21, being an unmarried pregnant lady, and how I made it through her infancy and how I made it through just all of the hurdles that were presented, this is what I feel. I feel like I was able to really look to God and ask for his will to be done in my life so I can be worthy of the Lord, so that I could please him with my life and make better choices and better decisions and just allow his power to be strengthened in my weaknesses. And so this is really like our family testimony. I think that I've never actually said it that way, but that's essentially what it is. Like when people ask me how my husband and I met, how we got married and all that stuff, this is the story that I tell, because I'm like, look, it's not cute. It's not like a Disney, love story. This is a God love story, that God saw that these two people made a mistake. They had good intentions. Let's work on this, because there is something good that could come out of this, and it could only come from me though. We are not perfect people, okay? We get things wrong. I get things wrong a lot, but God's power is shown through this story alone. And I hope that you found this encouraging, maybe even a little entertaining, because Lord, can I tell a story? I don't know. In the comments below, if there's something that you would like prayer for, please have courage enough to leave me a comment and I will add you to my list. I've got a growing list every day and I would love to pray for you and whatever you have going on in your life. So that's it. That's all I've got. Again, my name is Ari. If you want to come find me on the socials, come find me. I hope I get to see you again in the next video. See you later. Adios. I've got to find a better Bible stand thing.